please bless the Christ child. Please bless me that my Mary costume landed and didn't
Yeah.
come off the wrong way.
Yes.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello. Welcome to our little Christmas nativity reenactment. I'm Elisa, the angel.
I'm Katie, obviously the Virgin Mary.
Yes, obviously. Welcome to Please Bless This podcast. This is the podcast where two sisters talk about all things Mormon in pop culture and sometimes relive our childhood Christmas Eve together on a podcast.
Yeah. I know, this is kind of fun when you think of it that way. Because it really is what we did every year growing up. On Christmas Eve, we would have to dress up. Our dad would read from Luke 2, and we would like set up like a little fake manger situation. There were costumes. There may have even been costume changes. It was a lot considering there were only 3 children in our family.
I know. I will say that this year, in preparation for this episode, I definitely swooped in and stole the angel role from you.
Yeah.
Because growing up, you were always the angel and I was always the freaking Virgin Mary giving birth.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the angel.
Yeah. The angel is like the fun role.
Yeah. I didn't want to be the burdened, underage pregnant mom.
I know. But that's literally what I am. So
not underage.
Wow.
You're an appropriate age to be having a child.
I'm going to be honest, though. One thought I did have while watching this special, the Christ child, hashtag light the world, was that if I were due in December instead of February, I would be making a lot more Virgin Mary jokes throughout, a lot more Christ child jokes.
Yeah. Interesting. My husband's birthday is a few days before Christmas. And what an odd time of year to be born. What an odd time of year to be pregnant, especially if you're like a super religious Christian woman.
That's loaded.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if Frank is the Christ child, but he's a Christ child.
Oh my gosh. We're going to get hate mail. So let's back up. You were talking about our typical Christmas Eve festivities, and I made a list.
Okay.
This is what we would do. This is the family Christmas Eve setup. Number 1, Mom would print out an agenda some years. As if we hadn't been doing the same thing for a decade, we would get a printed agenda.
And like as if any of it really mattered. Like it was all just like, we're going to go look at Christmas lights or whatever, but no, it's on paper.
It's on paper. So that's step 1. Get your paper agenda out. We would have a musical program of some kind. We would play the piano, we'd sing a song, our brother on the cello, our dad on the violin. We're performing. Think Family Home Evening on South Park. That was us.
Yes.
Next, we're doing a reenactment of the Nativity, hence the outfits, while our dad reads Luke 2 from the Bible.
Yes.
And there was in the same country shepherds, that vibe, right? Keeping watch over their flocks by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them.
Okay, Elisa.
Not to brag, but I've heard it a lot.
Yeah, we've heard it enough times. I do always think of it in is it Linus's voice?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
no, that's the voice in my head.
Yeah, I hear Charlie Brown Christmas.
The way he's like, and lo.
And lo.
Yeah.
This weird little accent. Anyway.
Yeah. I do love Linus.
Yeah, me too.
Then we would watch the Nativity movie, which was it for a lot of our childhood. It was like this 5-minute movie that the church put out, and we would watch it. Now there's a new version of it, which we watched in preparation for this episode that we're going to talk about. It's a little bit longer. It's called The Christ Child, a Nativity Story, hashtag light the world.
Yes.
And we're going to get into that in a bit. Um, then we would have, this part wasn't on the agenda, but we would have a little bit of a fight about whether we were going to go and look at Christmas lights.
Correct.
And ultimately we always did, but
Right,
you
there was
had
no
to argue about
question.
it
Yeah.
first.
There was never any question whether we would or not, but
Mhm.
for some reason we treated it like there was.
It
And by we, I
always,
mean our parents.
yeah. It was always like, oh, what a burden. I can't believe we're doing this. And it's like, can't you? Because we do it every year.
Right. And it's literally going for a drive.
It's going for a
So let's
drive.
relax.
Because we grew up in Washington, it was always a little rainy, which was fun ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
We'd listen to a little like Mannheim Steamroller Christmas.
Yeah, I
Or
was thinking
Harry
about that.
Connick Jr.
Yeah, or Amy Grant.
Or Amy Grant.
Yeah.
Emmanuel God with us. And we would head to the neighborhoods with the Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad would be a little grumpy, and it was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It was always a silly, goofy time.
Yeah. Then we would come home and eat manicotti. Always manicotti.
Yeah.
Our family is not Italian.
Nope.
That's just what we eat on Christmas Eve. No reason except that it's delish.
It is delish. We make a mean manicotti in this family, it turns out.
Then we would open one Christmas present, pretty much always a set of pajamas, ideally matching pajamas.
Yes. From
if we
Old
could
Navy.
swing it. Yes. And then we would watch A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yes. And then the parents go to bed and we would, or go to bed, aka wrap presents and probably stay up till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And we would, get up to shenanigans.
Yep. And that is that.
Yeah. Pretty fabulous. Lots of good little easy traditions there.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's almost nearly an ideal Christmas Eve, except maybe the whole nativity reenactment bit.
Yeah.
You could definitely leave that in the past.
So let's talk a little bit about the nativity video.
Let's do it.
Hashtag light the world.
Hashtag light the world.
So this newest version was released 3 years ago. It has 5.8 million views on YouTube.
Saw that.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Although, if the membership of the church is what it purports to be, it's not a lot.
It's true. Yeah.
There'd be like 3 times that many views.
Yeah, especially it's because it's been out for years and years at this point.
Not to rain on their parade, but curious.
Suspicious.
And you can find it on the church's YouTube channel, which is comeuntochrist.org. Which is how you know they don't understand YouTube channel names, because it's a website.
Right. That's not how it works.
But whatever. So the basic premise of this film, this short film, is that it follows Mary and Joseph on their way to Bethlehem. She's about to give birth. There's no room at the inn. She gives birth in a stable. Shepherds see an angel and come worship the baby. Wise men come from the east, arrive a couple of years later, which is apparently more historically accurate than the idea that they got there that same night.
Right.
And they fall at the feet of 2-year-old Jesus and give him gifts.
Yeah, they lose their minds at the feet of toddler Jesus.
They sure do. Speaking of losing your mind, I love that. Chip is screaming in the background.
Yeah, my toddler is screaming in the background. He is not under duress. He is enjoying himself. It's nap time, and he's choosing to spend it playing in his crib. He's safe and being monitored. Don't worry about it. He's a good guy. He loves it.
So, a few thoughts about this latest iteration of the Nativity Story from the church. Because like I said, there used to be like a 5-minute version of this that was honestly very similar.
Yeah.
Like there's no English speaking dialogue that you're meant to sort of follow. There is dialogue I learned that in this movie it is Aramaic. And they don't use subtitles. Like you're not meant to like know what they're actually saying. It's meant to mostly be visual and then some music and some vibes.
Yeah. They're going off vibes alone for the most part. But yeah, there is a little sprinkling of Aramaic.
And I learned by watching the YouTube video that's a making of the Christ Child that Aramaic is a dead language. So they brought in this the one guy who knows Aramaic,
Yeah.
and he works at like a museum in Minnesota. And it wasn't clear that he's like a member of the church necessarily. So I don't know that he is, but
Yeah.
he's an expert in Aramaic and came in and gave the actors some lines in Aramaic that they could say. And I like to think
Mm.
that he kind of messed with them a little bit.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
taught them like swear words in Aramaic, and no one will ever know
No,
because, yeah.
dead language.
So, one thing that I noticed while watching this
Mm-hmm.
is it just reminded me about how the church loves to center Joseph in the story of the
Yeah.
Nativity.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's always been the case, though when you watch the making of video, they're like, we wanted to do something that's never been done and center Joseph's perspective. And I'm like, that's always what the
Yeah.
church does.
Right.
And it's not surprising. I mean, it's a patriarchal church. Of course, they care about the man's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like a little bit silly.
Yeah. I think it's for modern men so that the modern man can watch it and feel like, I don't know, or maybe to not feel like, why is this guy sticking around?
Sure.
Because I think any modern man would hear the story of Mary and Joseph and her pregnancy with Jesus and be like, why didn't Joseph like run? You know?
Yeah. Right, because she like mysteriously gets pregnant while I
Yeah.
guess like sort of betrothed to him, right?
Yeah.
And a virgin, though
Right.
virginity is a construct. And
Yes.
he's like, "Wait, whose baby is this?"
Yeah.
I remember being told as a young child, like in those days, Joseph could have chosen to have Mary stoned. And isn't it just so amazing that he didn't? And it's like, I mean, I guess
uh
it seems like the bar is pretty low
yeah.
here.
Yikes. Must we tell the
Must we?
children that little tidbit?
Right.
Ugh.
And I mean, when you watch the making of video, there are all these talking heads, the director, producers, these guys from the missionary department, the ancient Aramaic dude, scholars who are like experts on the Bible times. And of all the talking heads, there is one woman who speaks, the actress who plays Mary, and she speaks for about 4 seconds.
Okay.
And that's it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm not surprised that we're centering the perspective of Joseph here, because it does not seem that any women are in charge or even close to it.
That's really a shame.
But not a surprise. Other thoughts about this video?
First thought, this was filmed in Utah for sure.
Oh, it was. I confirmed on the making of video.
That's great because I didn't confirm, but I just knew.
They have a whole set that they used to make like all their Bible movies.
Uh-huh.
That's meant to look like ancient Israel
Yeah.
or ancient Bethlehem.
And not like I'm an expert, but just watching it, I'm like, this isn't right.
Right.
This is not the land. This is Glendale. um, they were doing a lot of really good, like, I don't know what the word is, but like acting without speaking in this.
Yeah.
Like Joseph bebopping around, like, damn, the inn is really popping tonight.
Yeah.
He was saying a lot without saying anything, and I really appreciated that.
Lots of concerned looks. Go ahead.
I had the thought,
please.
girl, you cannot seriously have the Christ child in this pile of hay. It's like, we've got to find you a different situation.
Yeah, that manger looked like a hard place for a baby to rest.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of overflowing hay.
No,
I was sort of like, could we give him a little cushion here?
And then the Christ child is born, and he was a 10-pound baby.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Jesus was a 10-pound baby.
We fast forward to the wise men showing up. The actor who played the lead wise man did an outstanding job. Yeah, he was weeping weeping.
He was weeping. I was a little bit like confused. I was like, who is this supposed to be? Because that actor, I don't necessarily even know if I've seen him in anything, but just his face, he's very like villain coded.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it took me a second to be like, oh, he's a wise man and not
Yeah.
a super villain. Okay.
He's 7 feet tall. He's
Yeah.
like bald.
Bald.
He's just got a real like intense look.
Yeah. When you're
Um,
shaved bald,
yeah.
in ancient Jerusalem, it's like a little bit of a look.
Yeah. But he shows up, takes one look at 2-year-old Jesus, and just falls apart sobbing.
Yeah.
And I thought, can we stop normalizing like
Yes.
putting all of our adult expectations onto little children?
Again with
This is
this.
a
Yeah.
2-year-old.
Yeah. And he's just standing there like, haha.
Hasn't said a word, hasn't done a thing, and people are
No.
just sobbing at his feet. And
Yeah.
yeah, sure, if you believe that he's Jesus and he grows up to perform all these miracles, I get it. But he's a 2-year-old.
Yeah. He has not yet grown up and done anything.
No, no, no. So
So it's
can
a
we
little bit
relax?
strange. Yeah, I definitely felt the same way. It was a little bit intense, and you can tell it's supposed to be kind of like the emotional climax of. I mean, like
Mhm.
obviously, a man, a very like kind of scary looking man, is weeping. Full face camera zoom.
Yes.
And it did not hit for me.
No.
I did not. I did not feel the spirit with that one,
No.
unfortunately. But good attempt. That actor, it's not his fault. He did a great
It's
job.
not his fault.
He was fabulous and beautiful.
He did great work with the material.
Mm-hmm. The material just was lacking.
That Luke 2, Matthew 1 material.
Yeah.
Returning back to our conversation in the last episode where we watched Mr. Kruger's Christmas, and there's this like heart-wrenching scene of him in the manger talking to baby Jesus. And you and I were both like, oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
should I go back to church? Why am I feeling
Mm-hmm.
these feelings? I will say I did not have any of those feelings watching this video. And isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. Yeah, this like biblically accurate portrayal. We're just like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is
It
weird.
it made me think like it turns out the thing I'm drawn to is not like this sort of mythical tale of a baby born in a manger. It's and born of like immaculate conception. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's this sense of like human beings feeling connected,
Mm-hmm.
feeling important, feeling like they're not alone.
Yeah, it's human stories, just
Yeah.
regular people who are feeling their feelings at Christmas and sharing them with others. That's what makes me question whether I should go back to church or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
think like, okay, maybe the question isn't, do I actually sort of believe in Jesus? It's, do I actually sort of need to find a community that I feel like I'm a part of again?
Yeah. Elisa, this is your Grinch moment.
And my heart grew.
Yeah. The true meaning of Christmas.
Oh my gosh, it's my Grinch moment.
Wow, I didn't know we were going to crack the Christmas code in this episode.
It's just a
Elisa.
silly little podcast.
I know. We keep going deep.
We're in
Yeah,
freaking
no.
costumes for crying out loud.
That's what it is. It's the costumes.
I know, we're really embodying. I'm taking on the work of an angel here.
We're breaking down our walls. Yeah. And I was going to say to wrap up, come under what is this called? The Christ
The
Child.
Christ Child. A nativity story. Hashtag light the world.
Yeah. My final notes, God, this is boring. And then don't forget to light the world. They have to like end it with a cute little thing.
That's the thing. The only like text that we have is at the very end where it quotes from Acts and it's like Christ went about doing good, which is a real basic line of scripture to throw in there. Like, you just went through all this drama and that's what we get. Okay. But then it's like, and so should you.
Yeah.
Light the world.
Okay.
So the end message is go to our little light the world machines and give us your money.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a TikToker who's been talking about, well, a number of folks who've been talking about the light the world machines and how apparently there's like a disclaimer that because you go to those little light the world vending machines and you're like, I'm gonna buy a chicken for someone in need, or I'm gonna pay for, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a disclaimer that the church can choose to use those funds like however they want.
Right. And they're for sure using them however they want. And the church does not need anyone's money.
No, the church can buy people freaking chickens. They have
Yeah.
money to do that. If they want to feed the hungry, they can feed the hungry without me going to a vending machine. But they apparently don't want to. So you
Yeah.
light the world, church.
Yeah.
Stop telling
We're
me to
doing the
do it.
best we can. You could buy a chicken for every person on earth,
Mm-hmm.
and you choose not to. So,
Yeah. Let's just call it what it is.
Merry Christmas.
Anyway, I mean, watch it if you want. It's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested, go for it. But like, I don't know, whatevs.
Yeah, it's super whatevs. Honestly, watch Mr. Kruger's Christmas before you watch
Yeah.
The Christ Child.
I know that one stuck with me a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
for
will
sure.
say, like, I'm curious to know what everybody else's Christmas Eve traditions and Christmas Day traditions are.
Mm-hmm.
And ours, like I said, is pretty set in stone. The only sort of variable is watching Muppet Christmas Carol. Sometimes we replace it with other Christmas movies.
Yeah, like what?
The Andy Griffith Christmas episode,
Oh, yeah.
where this like mean old man in town gets himself arrested on purpose because he's lonely and
Yeah,
he
that's a good
wants to
one.
be in the jailhouse for the Andy and Barney's Christmas party.
I know. Yeah. That
Yeah.
honestly, that's my preferred sad old man Christmas special.
Yeah. Very Mr. Kruger vibes.
Yeah.
There were years where we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but
Mm-hmm.
only the edited TV version that we had on an old VHS tape.
Yeah.
And I do remember like one year watching the real version.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got it on DVD from Blockbuster or something. And
Yeah.
everybody was shook at how filthy that movie
Yeah, it's
is.
shocking.
And our parents were like, ah, mortified.
Yeah.
I actually just like this week, mom told me that they watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation on like HBO Max. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, and we were like, why are we watching this? We never need to watch this again. And I'm like, I don't know how you keep forgetting that you hate that movie.
Right. That movie is like filthy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for it. Don't get me
For
wrong.
sure.
I can
I enjoy it.
definitely get
For
down with
me,
that movie.
yeah, it's not an every year go to,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, we watched it so much growing up. It definitely has nostalgic value for me. So,
Yes.
yeah.
But for our like very entertainment conservative Mormon parents, it was a
Yeah,
shock.
it's too much. Yeah.
What else? What are our other possible Christmas Eve films? The Holiday, but you have to fast forward through all of Cameron Diaz's scenes.
Yeah, which is a significant portion of the movie.
Yeah, it ends up being like an hour-long movie.
Yeah. If you just want to see Jack Black and Kate Winslet and the old guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the real heart of that movie. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to see Jack Black write a song for Kate Winslet and say, I used only the good notes.
Ugh.
What I do not want to
Jeez
see
Louise.
is Cameron Diaz acting a fool, prancing around England in her like 6 or 7 different winter coats
Yeah, it's
that
so
she apparently
ridiculous.
brought on this vacation. What suitcase is holding her 7 white,
Not the
all of them
suitcase.
white, her 7 white winter coats? How many
Right.
variations of a white winter coat do you need on one single vacation?
Yeah, she must have bought them once she got there because they did not fit in that luggage.
It makes me crazy.
And Jude Law is like doing borderline brown face in that movie.
He's
I noticed the
so
last
much
time.
self-tanner. Ooh.
Like he looks crazy. I guess he just looks like a British woman. Like I feel like that's what British women do. It's
Like
like
a
7 or 8
stereotype
shades.
of like a Love
Yeah.
Island British
Yes.
woman. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Although his daughters almost make their storyline palatable for like a couple of minutes.
Yes, who cares about kids? I don't want to see kids in my movies.
Oh, that's
Unless it's the
funny.
Christ child.
Woo. Unless it's baby Jesus in a manger.
Yeah. What else did we watch? Oh, Home Alone.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. I
Mm-hmm.
used to like Home Alone too until I realized Donald Trump was in it.
Oh, brother. Yeah.
Spoiled.
Boo.
And then sometimes we'd watch other versions of A Christmas Carol,
Mm-hmm.
mostly the George C. Scott. To me, that's like the OG,
Mm-hmm.
most classic,
Mm-hmm.
perfect Christmas Carol.
For sure. If you're not going to watch the Mups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get yourself some George C.
But
Scott.
I think A Muppet Christmas Carol is a perfect Christmas movie.
I agree. Have we talked about how my husband has never watched that movie in his
He
life?
still hasn't.
No. Last year, or maybe it was 2 Christmases ago, I put it on, but he didn't sit down and watch it. He was not interested.
You just got to keep putting it on.
Yeah. Eventually, it's going to seep into his brain and his heart.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, when love is gone.
Yes.
I can't believe that's the song I turn to because that is my least favorite song. That's why they cut it out of
Hey,
the
they put it
streaming
back.
version. I know. They
They
didn't
put it
need
back.
to for me.
Yes, they did. It doesn't make any sense. They sing When Love is Found at the end of the movie with no
Yeah, that's fine.
context.
I don't need context.
I need context. I think that the love being gone is integral to Scrooge's story.
What's the best song from Muppet Christmas Carol? I have my answer.
Life is full of sweet surprises. Every day a gift.
Perfect.
What's yours?
The part I'm thinking of right now is "'Tis a season to be jolly and joyous."
La la la.
And the like bing bong, the scatting in the background.
Yeah, yeah. I like all the songs.
Except
I'm a fan.
Except
I don't understand the hate.
Love is gone. Listen, everybody, we just want you all to have the best Christmas ever. It's been a real pleasure to reflect on our own Christmas experiences and to think a little bit about Jesus and then ultimately decide that we're cool. We're like good.
Honestly, that has been really good for us, I think.
I think so
it's
too.
Important to let yourself feel these things out.
Yeah. Also, I noticed in preparation for this episode that we are releasing our 25th episode the week of Christmas. And I feel like that's like beautiful symmetry.
Ooh, that's almost too good.
We didn't even try.
We'll be
back next week with a little New Year's Eve special. We're going hard for the holidays, my friends.
Yeah, we love a holiday.
We sure do. In the meantime, follow us everywhere at Please Bless Pod. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Although I don't know how much longer we'll be on Twitter. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there.
Such a dumpster fire. Like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
Email us at pleaseblesspod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Ooh. Write a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be dynamite.
But only if you want a really, really nice shout out.
And only if you have really, really nice things to say. Otherwise, no problem. Don't worry about it. Take it easy. It's the holidays.
Yeah, come on. Please bless the Christ child. Please bless me that my Mary costume landed and didn't come off the wrong way.
Yes.
Please bless us all. Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh. God bless us, everyone. And please bless this podcast.
Yeah, that's an important part. Thank you. Amen.
Goodbye.